All right, now on the show on India Tonight, we're getting you an important debate that is top of mind today. 5G is clearly in focus. The spectrum issue is at hand and all the rage in recent times. There is clearly no doubt about it. In India, of course, 5G is the one that we're looking out for, and so is it across the world. But the adoption of 5G is clearly facing several challenges. The Cellular Operators Association of India, the COAI like we know it, now they're saying they are urging the government to not allocate dedicated spectrum for private captive networks. The Telco Association claims that if they do this, if the government goes ahead and does this, it will severely degrade business for them. On the other hand, you have the Broadband India Forum. They are hitting back at what the COAI is saying. They're saying that allocating private spectrum is going to ensure more revenue for the government, and that's why it should be done. The question really is, why is private captive network in the eye of the storm? It is a network set up by a private entity for use of a single organization. That is the sheer definition of it, as it were. The question is, can it be utilized by the concerned organization and nobody else? Because then it raises security issues. The COAI has flagged not just the revenue issues, but national security as well. So a private captive network provides users that option. They can modify their network according to the kind of usage that they have. Major telcos believe this is going to mean a loss of business for them. In fact, they are saying that this does not make a viable business proposition. 5G network, if they are going to offer it, it is not a viable option if this indeed does take place. If 5G spectrum is offered to private enterprise. Now, where do we stand on this? On the show, we brought you two sides of this debate. On the one hand, we have with us Debashish Bhattacharya. He is part of BIF, and of course we are looking at several developments taking place on this by the COAI, and they're putting out their comments as well. Clearly, I want to be able to ask our guests from COAI, in many developed countries, France, you name UK, you mentioned US, Australia, all of these are putting in place policies to roll out private 5G networks. It enables enterprises to dedicate bandwidth for ultra-reliable, low latency use cases, like in robotics, like in industrial IoT. They have control over data, they have control over security, they have control over networks. My question is, why are you at COAI opposing what could be potentially very good, perhaps very useful for private enterprise?
Okay, good. That's a good question that you have posed to me. The important thing while I'm answering this question is I'm keeping Indian background in mind. Now, you have given me an example of countries which do not have the same environment, the same aspirations, and the same political aspirations as what the Indian ecosystem has. Our government is pro-poor government. Our government is committed to improve the lives of the general masses. And that will not be at the cost, I'm sure, at the cost of corporations, multinational corporations. The people who are pushing for private networks in their factory premises have no dearth of money. But why are they pushing? Why is nobody asking that question? Why are they pushing for that? It is what is it that they want? Ultra low latency is a very good word. Let them spell out their parameters and let the telco say we can provide it. We are saying we can provide it. With what is available in technology today, slicing, edge computing, QoS parameters, virtualization, we can do it for them. And without their investing anything in capex, they only have to pay us for what they consume. Now, if you go a little step further, even if they're given the spectrum by allocation, how are they going to use it? You think a car manufacturing technician will suddenly become a telecom technician? No, he can't. Much like I am a telecom engineer, I can't go by reading books. I can't become a doctor.
Fair enough. You're saying the telecom industry has a role to play. That's why they are there. Why should private enterprise be given the option to go ahead with 5G spectrum? The points being made over here, Debashish Bhattacharya, by Mr. Kochhar, you heard them. How do you react to what he has to say on the issue of allowing private enterprise to get 5G spectrum from the government?
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure and an honor to be on the show of yours today. At the outset, I would like to specify that private networks are not public networks. The telecom operators are past masters in setting up public networks, not private networks. Private networks are non-public networks, first of all, as far as the definition goes. Then this is a globally harmonized definition across all countries and all standard bodies all across the world. First point. Second point is, why is private networks important today? Private networks is important simply because India needs to accelerate digital transformation, Atmanirbharta, and Industry 4.0. India needs high efficiencies in all other verticals other than telecom, like manufacturing, healthcare, education, agriculture, and financial inclusion, and many others like this. This transformation or process of digital transformation is today a national priority, and is required for the general good of the public as such. This can be only achieved with the help of private 5G networks, and hence a global manufacturing organization which has to achieve a good and a solid supply chain hub and build resilience and self-sufficiency.
You're talking about deeper penetration. I take that point, but
so number one, let me kindly allow me to continue.
I'll come back to you in just a moment. I want to take this point across. Please allow me to Mr. Kochhar. The other contention that we've heard is that the government, Mr. Kochhar, you're saying that they stand to lose revenue by doing this. How can that be if private enterprise has to buy 5G spectrum from the government at a fixed price? How do you think that is going to happen?
Please understand that the offering to a consumer, to an individual consumer, depends on the economies of scale. Okay, if India is providing one of the lowest tariffs in the world, it is not because there is a large enough market, it is because of the economies of scale that is provided by that market. If people are investing in India, it is because of these economies of scale that they are seeing a market for. That is why they are coming to India. So saying that there is large enough market, so gives part of that market free to people who are multi-billionaires and deprive the poor person of getting the benefit of that economy of scale slice is incorrect.
That point is well taken. I want to ask our guest from BFI whether we believe that entrepreneurs, because you're talking about deeper penetration and you can complete that point as well, whether it really helps entrepreneurs. Is that really the goal that you're talking about? Because you're talking about deeper penetration, but yes, at one level, you're talking about larger companies who are going to stand to benefit because of 5G spectrum being offered by the government to private enterprise. But at the kind of prices we are talking about, that really goes out to the larger players. What about the smaller entrepreneurs? Do they get to participate in this possibility too?
Okay, first of all, let me clarify, we are not BFI, we are BIF.
My apologies, BIF.
Number two, let me take the point which was raised by my learned colleague, which is, before I come to your question, which is the issue of that the investment, who will make the investment for the private networks? Well, of course, if the private networks is to be given the permission, it will be the private networks who will bring in the capex, which will be required to set up the enterprise, the network. First of all, secondly, today, if the general feeling is that by actually setting up a public network and you can share your infrastructure with a private network, I'm afraid this will not work. This is not for which private networks are supposed to be set for. They're not supposed to be, part of a small piece of a public network which can be just handed over to them, saying, you take it or leave it. That's not the way private networks are supposed to be designed. Private networks are designed, are customized for a particular requirement and a particular application. For example, you would need a different kind of a network, a customized network at the airport, at the international airport, vis-a-vis what you would need, let's say, for a automotive plant like a Maruti or a Honda. Their requirements are totally different and they need to be customized. A public network which has a one-size-fits-all network designed for what a one-size-fits-all cannot meet the specific customized requirements of a private network. And hence, it is absolutely imperative that private networks should be given the choice and the freedom to set up their own networks. Of course, if they wish, they can always go to the telcos and take the spectrum from them as well. But they should be given the choice. And we, as a good democratic country, we must give to our customers the freedom and the choice so that they can make a learned choice as to what is good for them and what is not good for them. Thirdly, I would like to point out, as far as the issue of economies of scale are concerned, I think our learned friends have forgotten the fact that since private networks are not public networks, they will not disturb the public network ecosystem at all. The public network ecosystem will continue to thrive irrespective of whether there is a private network or not, number one, because the private network is a standalone closed user group of people who do not interact with the public network. So there is no question of revenue loss or scale going down because the part of the network is being hived off to private networks.
Sure.
No, absolutely incorrect. So the point that I'm trying to make is that private 5G networks are going to provide an additional revenue stream for both the telcos as well as for the government.
You think the revenue is going to be there for both?
Yes.
COI is saying that at this point in time, they see the revenues not being able to get the entire market share that they would otherwise be used to if the private enterprise was not asking for a stake within the 5G spectrum. But to Mr. Kochhar, what exactly are you asking of the government now? In case the government does go ahead with spectrum allocations to enterprise, then will you not participate in the 5G spectrum auctions? Tell me what exactly is the end game here for telecom operators?
You are jumping to conclusions. You are saying ghosts and cupboards. Who has said this? Nobody from my membership has said anything of this nature. We have only said that it will be unviable rollout. We have not said that what you are trying to imply or put words into my mouth. We have not said that at all.
No, fair enough. No, but I'm still asking you, Mr. Kochhar. You're not answering my question. Are you not asking for anything from the government at this point in time? What exactly is your ask?
Of course, we are asking. We are saying that this private network business is a bogey. People are pulling the wool over your eyes by quoting international examples which are not relevant to India. Industry 4.0 hasn't come to India. The examples that they are quoting haven't proven themselves world over, and they are quoting nascent examples where the countries are themselves dabbling with technology. You want to jump into that fray just because good papers are written, good presentations are made. That doesn't make sense. Please look at it from the public good point of view. And I'm sure that this government has only that one single point agenda. When the government says Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, it is not Vikas of MNCs, it is Vikas of the public, Indian public. Okay, and it should be seen from that point of view, and not from the point of view of subsidizing companies which are internationally well known and who have so much of monetary clout.
Yes.
Why are they looking at these peanuts? Please understand why are they looking at
the points that you're making, Mr. Kochhar, are well taken. And of course, as far as this debate is concerned, we'll see an end to it once the government decides which way to go. And we are waiting. The pendency of that entire debate now rests with the government. We'll have to see exactly which way it goes. But clearly, the 5G spectrum has been stuck because of this debate. We hope there is something that both parties can agree on, and we can move ahead with 5G spectrum coming into the country in a big way. Mr. Bhattacharya, Mr. Kochhar, thank you very much for joining us on this debate.